Hey people, good evening. Good evening to you all. Trust you all are doing well and good. Um, so I had a very interesting day today. A pretty busy but interesting day today. And I decided to do this quick video to share with you an observation that I made earlier today in town. So, you guys, or as you can see, the topic for this live, which I titled, Are Children Truly a Blessing from God? We all know the Bible in Psalm 127 says that children are a blessing from God. But the hassle of bringing up these children or taking care of these children is a burden. See, a lot of the times when you go to most of African church or even every church, I know normally when they are christening and they are baptizing or doing any ceremony related to children in churches, this is the Bible verse that is normally used. Children are a blessing from God. However, they fail to read out or to say out the entire verse, which is the hassle of bringing up children is a burden. And indeed, it's a big burden. Now, why am I saying this? Earlier on, I was in town today and I observed that 90% of our African brothers and sisters I saw in town were pushing buggies. A lot of them were new mothers. New mothers? Well, not new mothers per se, but they were nursing mothers. And, they were nursing mothers, which means that they had not put to bed, not long. And if you are someone who is very experienced and observant, you can tell the difference between someone who hasn't been in the country long to someone who has been in the country for so long. The handwriting is just glaring at you. So 90% of the women I saw in town are women who had given birth, and most of them have not been here for long. Look, for those of you who are still in Africa or who are still abroad and are planning on coming to Africa or coming to Europe, especially the UK, one thing you have to realize is that it is not every child that has been born in the country that becomes a citizen automatically. No. In some African countries, I know in Ireland, every child born in Ireland belongs to the state and I think is automatically an Irish citizen. But in the UK, it is not so. Every child born in the UK takes up the citizenship or the immigration status of the parent. So If you are coming to the UK to study and you decide to come pregnant, or you decide to just give birth as soon as you come. Hi, Becky. Good evening. I'll be sending you a message later today if I don't forget. Sorry about that, guys. So every child born in the UK, or if you're coming into the UK and you decide to straight away become a nursing mother, you are unnecessarily giving yourself too much burden. You're giving yourself too much of a burden. In this case, forget about what the Bible is saying about children being a blessing. And now think about the whole verse, which says bringing these children up. The hassle of bringing them up is a burden. Because what I've realized is a lot of African, especially African married women, have become so irresponsible. So irresponsible. We have been brainwashed in our religious places, in our churches, and our place of worship, to think that the moment you are pregnant is a blessing from God. Forgetting that we need to think about the welfare, the happiness, the proper upbringing of that child you are bringing into the world. We forget about all that, because I normally see a lot of people giving birth to 3, 4, 5 children. And then you look at their state, you look at their condition, their way of life, their economical situation, and you ask yourself, why would I be this stupid? Why would I be this stupid to just go on giving birth to kids that I know that are going to make my life more burdensome? Why are we our own enemies of progress? Why? The fact that God has given you the choice to be a mother, or God has given you that blessing to be able to give birth to children, doesn't mean that you should just go about giving birth to children like that. At least be sensible enough and plan your family, plan your birth, space them up, give yourself time to recover, give your body time to recover, give your finances time to recover, give your mental health, your entire family time to recover. Gone are the days where most of our parents weren't well educated and therefore decide to give birth to so many children. Some of us are the products of such. And we can all tell from our experiences of growing up in such a household, growing up in a home where you are more than 3, 4, 5. You saw how difficult things were. You saw how you had to struggle. You know, your family had to struggle. Some of your family, in fact, food to eat was a problem. You guys or you people were left to fend for yourselves. Why do you want to wish that on your own children? Why do you want your own children to experience what you did? Where is the common sense in that? Where is all that education you have had? Forget about the fact that some of you, your religious practices prevents you from practicing family planning. The fact that your religious practices prevents you from doing family planning doesn't mean that you yourself cannot have that self-control. You cannot have that self-control to decide how your family should be, to decide the number of kids you want to have and how you want to have them. Let us apply common sense. Let us apply wisdom and stop being educated illiterate, whereby the moment you give birth to the first one, after a year, you are giving birth to another one, you are giving birth to the third one, which means, you are just popping the kids out like that. Those of you in Africa, I don't blame you, because the thing is, you do not involve yourself so much in the upbringing of these children. You just give birth to them and then you leave them for nannies and family members and relatives and house girls and house boys to bring these children up, to do all the dirty work. But it is not so when you come out here. When you end up here, let's say, even if unfortunately it is your first child, imagine having to learn how to be able to bath a newborn baby without any elderly family member doing that for you. You have to do it yourself. Some of us did it, or most of us did it. Some of the things that your mothers will come and do, the practices in Africa whereby you, after giving birth, your mom comes to stay, or your husband's mother comes to stay in the house, takes care of you, baths the baby, looks after the baby for a couple of months, and then go back. Those things do not happen out here unless you are financially stable, unless you have, you are very comfortable. You do not have the luxury. In fact, these days it is even difficult getting visas for your family members or your mothers to come and visit after you've given birth. The immigration rules in the UK have been tightened. It changes every single day. It changes all the time. When I came into this country, there was that 2-year working holiday visa whereby if you are a youth, you are able to apply to come here, as a working holiday person. But that visa no longer exists. Why? Even if it does, it is only limited to certain nationals. I know people in Australia and other countries, Canada, Australia, and America and stuff like that, they still have the privilege of getting those visas to come to the UK. If you are, and I think if you are under 30. Yeah. But imagine how many years ago, over 20 years ago, myself, an African, I was able to apply for that visa to come here. When I came here, I could invite any family member, any close family member, my siblings, my parents, I could invite anyone. And once I showed that I was working, I was gainfully employed, I had a suitable accommodation and all that, the visas are automatically granted. And that was what I did. All my siblings could visit me. They visited me multiple times before settling here. Both my late parents had visas to come here. But these days, it is not so. I have had people who have invited their parents after their wives have given birth, or women who have given birth and they have invited their parents, and those parents have been rejected. They've been denied visas to come to the UK. This shows you how tight things are, you know. And then you want to subject yourself. You have a couple of people coming here as students. And the nature of studies here is not like what you experience in Africa. Believe you me, people get away with so much in universities in Africa. Sometimes you don't even have to attend lectures and stuff like that, and you are still able to pass, or you still claim you obtained first class, second class, whatever. But education out here, university studies out here are so demanding. It demands, your full time and attention. It involves a lot of critical thinking. So how do you combine this with raising a newborn baby, or even going through pregnancy and labor? I don't know whether those people who plan their lives that way, by either coming to the UK with pregnancy, or they come here and then they decide to get pregnant. I don't know whether they've been informed that as soon as they deliver, the child automatically gets settlement or gets citizenship or what have you. Because I don't get it. Common sense should tell you that it is not the right thing to do. It is not the right thing to do. Because you have people coming here with kids already, and then they come and they decide to give birth again. And I'm like, where's the common sense? Where is the common sense? And now they expect other people to have pity on them because of their condition. Did I send you? Or when you were planning to have another child, did you plan it with me? Did you plan it with me? That each time you come crying to me because of hardship, I should jump on and support you. Huh? Why are people like that? Why can't we apply common sense as Africans? And the shocking part is, you go to all these African churches and the way they are celebrating things like this, and all these churches, it's not as if when, when the hardship hits you, when you are stranded, when you are in desperate need and you run to them, they are going to help you. Absolutely not. They would enjoy with you. They will sing, they will dance with you at the occasion of your child's naming or your child's dedication. After that, that is it. You are left on your own. All they will say is, children are a gift from God. Did God ask you to abuse his blessing? Did God bless you to let that blessing be a burden on you? See, that is one thing most Africans fail to understand. We abuse everything the Bible says is a blessing. We abuse them. We abuse them in the sense that we only underline the part that says God has blessed us with that. God has blessed us with children. God has blessed us with this, prosperity and this and that and that, and that is what churches are preaching, because that is what everyone is interested in. That is what attracts everyone. That is what attracts everyone. See, because it absolutely doesn't make any sense. It absolutely doesn't make any sense. Why will I make my life complicated? Why can't I plan my life well so that my life becomes a success? Why can't I do things like a reasonable and an educated person will do so that my life is easy, so that I am not overburdened? I fail to get it. I fail to understand. I just fail to understand why we continue to live our lives that way. Eh? Why would we continue to live our lives that way? Why? And for so many years after independence, our economies are nothing to write home about. And we keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over and over again, supporting leaders who embezzle funds, supporting people who are doing the wrong things. Yet we cannot advise ourselves to do the right thing. Where is the common sense? Where is the common sense? Anyway, I just hope people will learn. I just hope people will learn, because it's not about giving birth. Learn to control yourself. Learn to have some self-control, some self-discipline. Self-discipline and self-control. You are coming to study. There is time for everything. Time to study and time to have kids. Are you giving birth to these kids because you love them? Obviously not. Obviously not. Because what most people are doing is, I'm having the baby because I've just become pregnant. Which wise person does that? At least, if the first one is a mistake, should the second, third, and fourth be a mistake? Should the second, third, and fourth be a mistake? Should it be a mistake? Anyway, I think I've said more than enough. I'll leave this for another day, but it's just so disheartening. It's just so disheartening. So if you're in Africa and you are thinking of traveling abroad, look, forget about, family making. Forget about increasing your family, because you do not know what lies ahead of you. You don't know the challenges that are waiting for you. You don't. You don't know the challenges that are waiting for you. So don't make your life more complicated and more miserable. Don't make your life more difficult by putting yourself in such situations. Word for wise. That's enough. Thank you, and a very good evening to you.